What is up, Packer fans? The Packers did it. They won. They beat the Patriots in overtime. What a game. 27-24 was the final score. Definitely was not what we expected. Packers were favored by 9.5 points. Patriots came out early, jumped out to an early lead, got a field goal, and we even injured Brian Hoyer because we all know Mac Jones didn't start. He had that ankle injury against the Ravens. Brian Hoyer, the veteran, came in. Last time he played the Packers, he got hurt. When he played with the Bears in 2016, Matthews and Peppers combined for a hit and broke his arm. This time, Rashan Gary hit him and knocked him out of the game. So it's just bummer for Brian Hoyer. Every time he comes to Lambeau, he gets knocked out, or every time he plays the Packers. I think the first one in 2016 was in Chicago. But either way, whenever he plays the Packers, he gets knocked out. And the Packers defense really played well, but the rookie Bailey Zappi, the guy that I was talking about a little bit last week, saying how he might play, Belichick likes him, he could start, wasn't really sure. Looks like he should have probably started. This kid can throw the ball. He went to Western Kentucky, which is a pretty much throwing dominant school. If you ever watch college football on Saturdays, you've probably see them over the years, just scoring a bunch of points, playing some of these smaller schools, but throwing the ball around the yard. Bailey Zappi set all kinds of records for Western Kentucky, and the kid can throw. So there's weapons on the outside for the Patriots. They have a decent offensive line, and really, the first half didn't go great for either team. The Packers kind of struggled. It looked like they were struggling. Rodgers was just way off. There was a time when he was 10 of 20 on throws. That's 50%. His long ball was way off. Romo had said something about the guys, the receivers running certain routes that kind of threw off where his long ball was going, because some of the long balls looked like he was way off, by quite a bunch of yards. So for me, I'm like, why is it so far off? Romo mentioned something, but I wasn't really sure what he meant. Some of those deep routes, it's all about angles and everything. So if the receiver's running deep but running a certain angle and Rodgers throws it on a different angle, it's going to look way off. Luckily, none of them were picked or anything. The one that Watson had a deep one too, where it kind of landed on the inside of him, and it looked like if he could have got around, it was a good throw because it landed inbounds, and it looked like he could have got there, but he had to twist around too much, and just tough in the first half. But it looked like LaFleur was really starting to run the ball a lot more and focus on the run, maybe overdo it a little bit, just really focused on the run, trying to get the ball on the ground, going on the ground, which worked out because on 16 carries, Aaron Jones had 110 yards, a 6.9 average, 20 was his long, but no scores. And then A.J. Dillon followed that up with 17 carries, so even more than Aaron Jones, only 73 yards, but a 4.3 average, which is really good. That's where you want your guy to be, right around. That's super solid. 13 was his long, and no score as well. But then you had Christian Watson, who they like to try to get the ball into his hand in a bunch of different ways. One carry, 15 yards, and his first NFL touchdown. This time he didn't drop it. Really exciting for the kid. He got to do a Lambeau leap. We know he's a burner, so we got to get the ball in his hands. He's a playmaker. He really had, on that play, they did some nice misdirection. It looked like an old school 49ers Shanahan play, and the receiver came around the other side and he got the ball, and I didn't even really know he had it at first. I thought it was an inside give because they were doing a lot of that with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon next to Rodgers in the shotgun. I really like that package. You can either give it to either running back, either way, to go this way, cross you an inside zone, or they can swing out and you can throw it to them on a screen. There's a lot of different things you can do with that. I really like that package. And so then Aaron Rodgers had one carry for 1 yard, but still didn't get sacked on that one. And the first half, just, they were really trying to force the run, and Rodgers was off. You could tell. He made some throws, like I said, but they were mostly short passes. And then you could see Belichick started to switch it up a little bit. He's starting to shut down the short pass game. The run game still was going, but it looked like once the second half started, the Packers started forcing the pass more than they were the run. It looked like if they would have kept on that pace of running the ball, they would have had the running backs up over 20 carries each. But, they toned it down a little bit, started throwing it much more, and guys started making plays. Allen Lazard, big game. His third game back from his ankle injury. We all know that he didn't play week 1. He had 6 catches, 116 yards. That's a 19.3 yard average and a 32 long. And that 32 long, his long of the season, his long of the game, the long of the game for any Packer, was on a 3rd and 10 play on a drive that the Packers had to have after the Patriots went up later in the game. And it looked like there was not a lot going for the Packers early on in that drive. And then that play really sparked everybody, it seems like, because, Randall Cobb started stepping up after that. He made some big plays, some big catches on 3rd down. I have some of those videos posted, so go check them out. But huge catches on 3rd down, going to Randall Cobb, the old reliable. And that's, I was saying yesterday during the live that if he's here just to make those, he had 3 catches, but if, those 2 3rd down catches, because Rodgers trusts him, knows where he's going to be, and knows he's going to catch it, that is worth it to have Randall Cobb here. He even took that pay cut to stay here, and Goody said last year that he's only here because Rodgers wanted him here, but thankfully he is. And so, he had 3 catches, 42 yards, a 24 long, which was a huge catch. Like I said, Lazard had the 6 for 116. Romeo Doubs had 5 for 47, but he had a touchdown. And this touchdown to Romeo Doubs looked like vintage, old school, Devontae Adams back shoulder. The cornerback has no idea where it's going, and the receiver and the quarterback are on the same page, and touchdown, and he just kind of pushed back into the end zone. Quite a play for Doubs. And the biggest bummer for Doubs is in the 4th quarter, they're driving down the field, and Romeo Doubs goes up to try to catch. It was a deep ball in the end zone, and Doubs goes up, grabs it, makes a great catch, has the ball in his hands, starts to bring it down. He's going down to the ground. His feet hit the ground, and as he hits the ground with his body, the ball pops out. He has to maintain the ball through the whole process of the catch, which means through the process of hitting the ground. If he would have made a football move or something when he was after he touched the ground, more of like a twist or a spin or anything, it would have been a catch. But the fact that he went straight to the ground, he has to maintain possession through the ground contact, and that's a bummer because there's a lot of times where guys will catch it with their hands like this. And they'll have it for 1, 2, and then somebody will come and bop it out, and they'll be like, oh, no, he caught it. So, just tough, just because I just, that would have been the game winner right there. And for Doubs, that he is bummed and really upset that he missed that catch. He thought he had it. Rodgers thought he caught it at that time. It was really a big moment in the game. Really an important time period for him to make the big play. He would have been the savior of the game. It would have been a 6 catch for him. Would have put him up over like 60, 70 yards for the day. Would have been another really great day for him. Pretty much catches all his targets. I think that was his only drop. I'd have to look back at some of the stats, but I think that was his only non-target or non-caught target of the game. And so for Romeo Doubs, really starting to step up. But Lazard, like I said, okay, so I thought maybe they'd be wide receiver 1, 2 going into the season. I thought Doubs would jump him. But Lazard, if he can play like this, keep him as wide receiver 1. He's making the big-time catches at the big-time moments, really getting these young receivers the momentum and the kind of giving them that spark they need to take that next step. Super exciting for him. He really is playing super well. And we all knew he could do it. We all saw the talent and the catches he would make when he was just given a few opportunities, and he would make the most of them. Now, giving more opportunities, really proving that he can be the guy. I'm excited about Lazard. I'm excited about Doubs. If he's the wide receiver 2 now, that's perfectly fine. And Watson looks good. He had 1 catch for 8 yards, but he's just getting in the mix on that jet sweep. Like I said, he had that touchdown. So really exciting. And this was a huge moment of the game. Tanyan only had 2 catches for 22 yards. One of those catches was for 2 yards. and the other one was it was like 2nd and 19 from the 20-yard line. The Packers could get a first down at the 1, but 2nd and 19, Rodgers gets the snap, just zips it down the seam, and you can't see where they're throwing it to before they throw it, obviously, because of the camera and everything. So I wish they would have it farther out and bigger so you could see the whole field. But so he zipped it, and I'm like, oh, Rodgers was kind of off all game. You never really know where it's going to go, and you kind of worry. And then all of a sudden I saw Tanyan just box out the safeties right in the middle, right at the goal line, and catch this pass. Took the hit, scored the touchdown. Big play for him. So him getting into the mix, not as much as last week as that check down guy, but still really, really effective. And, Aaron Jones only had 3 catches for 5 yards. Not a lot out of him in the pass game. And A.J. Dillon only had 1 catch for 11 yards. But combined, A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones had 199 yards of total offense. That is huge for the Packers. Obviously 183 on the ground. More through the air would be. I thought for sure after seeing 183 on the ground, I thought for sure they had over 200 yards combined. But they are both on their way to 1,000 yards total offense this season for each of them. I think it's going to be more like 1,200, 1,300 for these guys, especially with the run game and the pass game mix. But for them, it was kind of an off game in the pass or receiving the ball, but really, really good on offense. Rodgers, though, so he started off slow. And, I was like, what the heck? Why is he so off and everything? But he finished 21 to 35, 60%. So he jumped from 10 of 20 to 21 of 35. So he caught up a little bit. Not where you want your starting quarterback to be. He should be at about 68%. So 60 is a little low. 251 yards, 2 touchdowns, the one to Dobbs and the one to Tanyan. Should have been a third to Dobbs, but he dropped it. And then the 1 interception, which was a pick 6. And it was a long, long throw, an out route, and it looked like the corner, was it Jack Jones or Jake Jones or something? He picked it off for the Patriots and returned it for a touchdown. Only the second time in Aaron Rodgers' career, over 3,500 pass attempts at Lambeau Field, that he has thrown a pick 6. Such a bummer, such a tough moment right there for the Packers. That allowed the Patriots to take the lead. It was a tough moment just because, the momentum was kind of stagnant for the Packers and the Patriots were kind of just sticking around. It was 3-0 after the first, and then we both scored touchdowns in the second, so it was 10-7 going into halftime. And then in the third, Packers jumped out to a little bit of a lead, scored 10 points. They were tied 7, and the Patriots scored 7. So then it was tied going into the fourth, and they both scored touchdowns, so it was tied 24 all going into overtime. And in overtime, oh my gosh, both teams got the football, and that's the most nerve-wracking part because Packers got the ball first. They won the coin toss. They couldn't get anything going, so they had to punt it, and the returner caught it at I think the 30, and he got it up to the 50. And we're like, all they got to do is go 20 yards to score or to kick a field goal. And I'm like, man, this is over. We're going to lose to the Patriots. I cannot believe this. This is just ridiculous. But I also knew, I knew at the end of regulation when the Patriots had the ball near the goal line because the Packers punted it. And again, Keyshawn Nixon caught it at the 1-inch line. This guy is becoming a regular when it comes to downing the ball inside the 1-yard line. Pat O'Donnell, another great one. Obviously, it all starts with him. Well, it all starts with Jack Coco snapping it great to Pat O'Donnell, who also had some more nice ones. But I knew that the Patriots wouldn't allow Bailey Zappi to throw the ball from that area at the end of the game. Too many risks, so they were just going to run the ball. And then I knew that in overtime, they also weren't probably going to throw the ball a lot, but so they started out running, and we stuffed the run. And then I think there was a holding call, and this was, what set them back the most. Now they're behind the sticks, and the Packers were able to get the ball back. But this Packers defense, I was impressed by a little bit. think they should have done a lot better. They might have had more success against Hoyer because they prepared for Hoyer all week. But when Zappe came in, just a different skill set, throws the ball a lot better than Hoyer. Doesn't have the experience as Hoyer, but much better thrower than Hoyer. And so Rashan Gary, like I was saying, unleash Bane Gary, 2 sacks on the day. So I was right about that. I predicted that he would have multi-sack game. He had his 2-sack game. Super exciting. Now he's up to 5 on the season, and that means that he's got 5 in 4 games. You got so that's he's on pace for 20 at this point. Even more than that with the 17th game. So that could be amazing for Rashan Gary if he were able to hit 21 sacks or something. He is going to get a payday. They're going to write that man a check for at least $100 million, if not more. But Rashan Gary came out, got the sack, forced fumble recovery trifecta on Bailey Zappe. I guess Preston Smith had told Gary that, hey man, you're getting so close there. Once you get that ball out, strip that ball, grab that ball. And so Gary got around, got real close, and got right up on Zappe and got the ball out, and the ball went down in between his legs. And I thought Zappe had got it from the live video. I thought Zappe had Gary knocked it back down to Zappe. But Zappe was trying to dig it out from underneath Gary's feet. Gary was sitting on it. It was under his legs, and he was sitting on it, and they were trying to. It wasn't coming out. It was Gary's. So sack, forced fumble recovery, trifecta for Gary. That's huge. And then he got another sack later in the game to make it a 2-sack, multi-sack game. Huge for him. Jarran Reed also got his first sack of the season. That's huge for him. A D tackle, a backup D tackle, nonetheless, to get in there and get a sack. He had 6.5 2 years ago with Seattle, only 2.5 last year with the Chiefs, but he's a guy that can rush the passer in the middle. Last week, we almost saw him get to Tom Brady on that one. Brady was able to stay up, and then Kenny Clark sealed that deal. But then we also saw half a sack each from Preston Smith and Dean Lowry. They combined on Zappe for a sack later in the game. Huge moment in the game when those two got to him. Really a big-time moment for Preston Smith to finally get his first, and Dean Lowry. Rashan Gary was right there on Jarran Reed's sack. I thought maybe they would give him a half a sack for that one, but Jarran Reed had him basically all himself, and they gave him the full sack. So 4 sacks on the day for the Packers, 1 forced fumble, and no interceptions again. That means only 1 interception. Jair Alexander against Justin Fields this season. That's tough because you're hoping to get more picks, especially in the back end with these guys. I'm thinking it's like a no-fly zone, and this zone leaves a lot of open space. They don't play if. I'd run man-to-man a lot more than try to have just, too high, just to kind of have a little bit of a deeper zone protection, deep. So, but because your guys are so talented, why put them in a zone and have them kind of be out of position? Because now they're questioning, is that my guy? Is that not my guy? Am I supposed to be in that zone or that zone? And he's kind of crossing in between zones, so then there's gaps and stuff. And so if you just kind of lock them up and say, go get them, it's a little bit easier, and then have other guys floating in zones. You can have, the linebackers floating in zones, or, the safeties coming around in zones. So, I don't know, just different. I just, I guess Bailey Zappe, 10 of 15, 99 yards, 1 touchdown, quarterback rating of 113. Hoyer was 5 of 6 when he got hurt for 37 yards. But Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson, 86 yards and 66 yards on the ground. They played well, but the Patriots really 1 sack only, so the offensive line, Bakhtiari started and played pretty much the whole game, I think. I don't think I saw Yash at all. I was looking a little bit, but I was more concerned about other things. But I think Bach was out there the whole game. He's back. He's ready to go. He's full-fledged back, and I'm so pumped. John Runyon Jr. was out there. He was mauling and just throwing guys around. He was playing super well. Josh Myers was playing super well. And then Royce Newman really starting to step up there at right guard. And Elkin Jenkins, I saw some people saying Elkin Jenkins came back too soon. Elkin Jenkins, maybe shouldn't have came back this early. And, he looks kind of tough out there. But he gave up 1 sack, the only sack of the game. It was to the Patriots' best player, Matthew Judon. There were some other plays where, you could see that Jenkins got beat, but all in all, after that second, going into the second half, the whole offensive line played way better. It was Jack Jones got the interception, and he had a forced fumble for the Patriots, but he had that pick six. But all in all, the Packers played really well on both sides of the ball. Again, mostly in the second half. That first half was really tough. 443 yards of total offense for the Packers. That's and only 4 penalties. They only had 2 penalties going into, I think, the fourth quarter, which was really big. Yeah, Patriots only had 4.7 yards per play. Packers had 6.2. You'd still like to get those numbers up more, but Packers time of possession, 37-33 for the Patriots, 24 first downs. We really did good on third down. I was trying to find the third down stats here quick, but there wasn't any that I could see. But I know that the Packers really did well on third down, except for if it was third and under 3. The Patriots were 3 of 4 yesterday on plays like that. But if they had to pass it for a first down, if it was like over 3rd and 4, I guess they were over. I'm guessing didn't have a lot of success. It's just a bummer because you knew the Patriots were gonna have to run the ball, especially they weren't gonna have Bailey Zappi throw it around the yard, and still Packers one play. A lot of guys in the box. Adrian Amos got knocked out with a concussion in the first quarter. That was a big loss. So we saw Rudy Ford in there a lot, but the Patriots were able to run the ball, and then they hit us with a play action, and then run the ball. And on one drive, they had 6 runs, 1 pass, and scored a touchdown. And, Patriots got ahead on that pick 6. Otherwise, the Packers were pretty much in control. Patriots got ahead on the pick 6, and then it's kind of going back and forth until it got tied up going in like at the end of the third into the fourth. And overtime, like I said, so nerve-wracking when the other team gets the ball after you've already had the ball. Because now all they have to do is kick a field goal. I heard Rashan Gary say, our whole focus was get the ball back for 12. We have to stop them, hold them to a field goal. But it was like if they kick a field goal, they win. So you got to stop them and hold them to no points because you don't get another chance. If you get the ball and they kick a field goal, they win. So, that's it. So they had to stop them. They did. Big moments for a lot of those guys. On the back end, Douglas and Stokes played really well. The quarterbacks only had 150 yards combined throwing for the Patriots. Yeah, not even. So 136 yards combined throwing for the Patriots. So that's huge for the Packers. That's just going to really help boost their stats. Obviously, they gave up some yards in the running game after last week, only giving up 34 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But Patriots, if you're going to give up something, you'd rather have them run down the field that's slower and just they're not making big chunk plays. And they didn't really have a lot going in the pass game. Nelson Aguilar, 3 catches, 46 yards. Devontae Parker, only 2 catches for 24 yards. He had that touchdown, the 25-yard touchdown pass. He lost the yard, so on a different play. So only 2 catches, but after last week having 5 catches, 10 targets, and 156 yards, shut him down. Pretty much everybody got shut down for the Patriots. They just were able to find ways to score points and stay in it, and then with good defense and, Belichick, but Packers did just enough to win the game. And it was super exciting watching yesterday. I did a live, so if you guys haven't seen the lives, come check it out next weekend. We're playing in London. It'll be an 8:30 game, so I'm going to have to get up super early and get pumped for that. But I'm excited to see them play in London for the first time. It's going to be exciting. So looking forward to next week, but we're going to do some more Packers, what happened in the Patriots game. I posted a lot of videos about all the really top plays of the game and some of the great moments of the game. So really a huge win for the Packers. They go to 3-1 now. They got out of another game without a lot of injuries. Adrian Amos, like I said, had the concussion, but I think he'll be good to go. Bakhtiari looked great. Watson was good to go. Lazard looked good to go. After week 1 with Quay Walker in his shoulder, I kept worrying about him, but he looked great. Devondre Campbell looked good. Everybody is ready to rock, and they're just going to continue to get better and better. Like I said, Rashan Gary having a 2-sack game, that's just huge. Packers 4 sacks. Finally, multi-sack game. We need more turnovers. We need more interceptions, more on the back end. A lot of guys really playing well, though, for the Packers. And like I said, they're just going to keep getting better and better. Tough, though, because it was a third-string quarterback, so that is something to worry about. Hoyer came in, Zappi came in, and the Packers had to go into overtime to beat this team. Rodgers was saying that, Belichick was scheming up all kinds of things. It was really difficult. There was a lot of, changes in different plays and schemes, settings, and all these things that he was doing. And so it was a lot of cat and mouse and just a lot of, back and forth playing chess. And so big win. Like Aaron Jones, I kept saying, run the ball. 199 yards combined for those two guys. That is huge. And then to have Allen Lazard to get up over 100 yards receiving, that's huge. Obviously, getting Dobbs in the mix. He's just a really shifty playmaker, catches most of his targets, uses his hands. He's really all about that. And then, getting Watson in the mix, just ease him into it. That's kind of what I thought they should have done. I liked that shot week 1. I'm not going to keep talking about it, but I'll keep talking about it. I like that shot week 1. He should have caught it, but it's just a lot of pressure week 1, telling him all week, yeah, man, we're going to you first play of the game. We're going to you first play. We're going to you first play. You better catch it. You better catch it. And then throwing it to him and, first time in front of millions of people. He played at a small North Dakota State, so he's never really even played on TV before, let alone in front of millions of people. So should have eased him into it, but, like I said, he should have caught it still, but all in all, really good win. The defense, special teams played really well when it came to, punting and field goals. Crosby made the game winner, of course, 31-yarder on a great drive from Rodgers after, the Packers had the ball in the overtime. Patriots had the ball in overtime. Packers got the ball back at like the 10-yard line with 4 minutes or so left, and they had it in the overtime, and they had to drive it the length of the field. Got down, made some clutch third down conversions, and was able to really push the ball down to field goal range and kick a 31-yarder, which was clutched by Crosby. But all in all, the kickoff coverage unit struggled a little bit. The Patriots will always have good special teams, so they're a really good barometer of where you are at as a team when it comes to special teams. Rodgers kept saying, I guess we'll find out. LaFleur kept saying, I guess we'll find out what we're really made of against this Patriots team. Looked like they struggled a little bit on coverage unit, on kickoffs. Patriots' average starting field position was like the 35-yard line. They really had success getting the ball past the 25. And so, that can make it difficult for a defense. It looked like some of Crosby's kicks were quite short, so I don't know if that was part of what they were trying to do or what the situation was. I just assume always kick a touchback, just put them at the 25. Why even mess with anything else? But otherwise, punting was good. Punt coverage was good. Like I said, Nixon really had that one down inside the 1-yard line, but that one punt that O'Donnell kind of line drived it a little bit, so the gunners got blocked up pretty well, and the returner got it at the 30 and got it to the 50, and that was in overtime. That was scary. So that's, they were saying that Nick Folk was making them from about 50, or from like the 43-yard line or so, and so they were at like the 47. And I'm like, that's like almost within threshold of, coach, let me just kick this, So I was worried they were just going to kick the long one, and you never know, Nick Folk might have made it. So Patriots decided to punt it, and the rest is history now. Rodgers got at the fourth quarter or overtime comeback, and I guess, won in overtime. So huge win all around. Packers really played good when it came to just getting what they needed when they needed to. Big third down conversions. Yeah, it's the Giants, I guess. It's technically a home game for the Packers, I guess, next week in London. So go figure. Last year, they had one extra road game with that extra game, the 17th game. And now this year, we get an extra home game, but now one of the home games is in London. So go figure. Tough stretch of travel coming up here. Packers go to London. Then they have the Jets at home again next week, which will be nice. Then they have at Commanders, at Washington, then at Bills, and then at Lions. So Packers really need to get these next 3 games in a row here so they have some cushion when they have to go to Bills and to Lions. Lions lost yesterday to the Seattle Seahawks, which was tough, and the Bills came back against the Ravens. So the Commanders, they lost to the Cowboys, the Jets, they beat the Steelers, and the Giants, they beat the Bears. So Giants are 3-1. I think they're probably the worst 3-1 team in the league, but they still are 3-1. They still have Saquon Barkley, and Daniel Jones can still run the ball, but he looks like he might be knocked out. They might be starting Tyrod Taylor. We'll talk about all that more this week. But Packers go to London for the first time. I think this is the 8th season that they've had this London experience. Now they actually have a game in Munich this year as well, Germany. So exciting for the NFL branching out. There is such a huge following for the Green Bay Packers all around the world. They have Packer bars, so super exciting that Packers finally get to go to London. It is tough on the players. Not so tough. I mean, it's tough on the coaches too, but the players are the ones that are physically exerting themselves. So really tough on them to have to travel, play an 8:30 game, which is 8:30 here. You know, I don't know what time they actually have it there. I think it's 6 hours, so it's like 2:30 there. And so it really messes with your internal clock. It really messes with your sleep schedule to have it set up like that. But just exciting the Packers are part of this. The Giants are another big, New York team. So you got New York and Green Bay, 2 real big powerhouse organizations going at it against each other. So hopefully the Packers can get out of there with a win. We'll talk about all that more later in the week. We'll do another Patriot Packers, recap tomorrow probably, just go over some of it. I like to just talk about it, initial reactions, get all excited because it was such a great game, so fun to watch, and just it always is better when they come out on top, obviously. But, it's just a good game. You want to blow out just because you don't want to be so stressed. But the highs and lows you go through is part of why we love football, right? The roller coaster of it all. And then when you win at the end of it, it just gives you that feeling like, of euphoria. You're so pumped. You're so excited. Makes my week so much better all around. It's really Victory Monday after a win. And the whole week is like victory week. So super exciting. Obviously, the players, they don't get too high or too low. They're just pumped about the win for a day. And now they move on to the next opponent. They have bigger goals than mine. But for the Packers to be 3-1, that is huge. I think. What does that mean after? Oh, the Vikings won yesterday as well against the Saints. So it looks like the Saints might bust out. But Packers and Saints are 3-1 atop of the division of the NFC North. And yeah, the Vikings actually have the tiebreaker because they won week 1, but Packers won 3 straight, Vikings won 2 straight, Bears are 2-2, and the Lions are 1-3, probably the best 1-3 team in the league. Cannot believe that they're struggling still. They just, they've actually scored 140 points. Packers have only scored 75, but the Lions have given up 141 points, and the Packers have only given up 69. So that's the difference. You're scoring a lot of points, but also giving up a lot of points. So 49ers, they play tonight against the Rams, and any other Eagles are the only 4-0 team. So pretty exciting. The NFL has been great this year so far. Packers win against the Patriots 27-24. Go Pack, go. I'm pumped. Hope you guys are excited. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Check out other videos and everything else. Packers. Everything Packers. So thank you guys again for watching. I will see you next time. Go Pack, go. Peace out, and thank you.